불타오르네.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Indri Kartini. My name is 16220122. In this video, I will try to explain about the chapter 7 of language planning and language standardization. So, don't need to wait any longer. Let's check it out. Okay, I will try to explain what is language planning. Language planning is the attempt to control or change the use of language, the structure of language, the status of language through a policy developed by government or other authority. Language planning involves the creation and implementation official about how language varieties and linguistic of a country are to be used. Jadi, language planning itu adalah sebuah rencana penggunaan bahasa yang diatur oleh kebijakan yang dikembangkan oleh pemerintah dan juga wewenang tertentu. Example of organization that look after the language is such as British Council for English and KBBI for Indonesia. Language planning also carried out by jadi language planning tersebut itu biasanya dilakukan oleh committees, akademis, government, and individuals. Okay, and the next is stages and activity in language planning. The first one is initial fact finding. Initial fact finding is gathering information by conduct survey. For example, like in one of school, the students have have 5 mother tongue, like Sundanese, Japanese, Betawi, Melayu, and Bahasa Indonesia. But the most mother tongue used are Bahasa Indonesia and Sundanese. That is the example of initial fact finding. And the second one is procedure. Procedure is a program to determine what is the language that will be used. For example, like in international high school, English is become their first language. It's been decided English it will become their first language, and all the activity and all the material will be delivering using English. And the third one is implementation. In implementation, language committees or academies can have far-reaching plan for a language. Jadi, di implementation itu adalah penerapan bagaimana si bahasa yang sudah direncanakan tersebut dilakukan. For example, like in our campus, in UKIP Siliwangi, when the students of English education crossing the English zone, they have to speak in English. Nah, it was the example of language implementation. And the fourth one is the evaluation. Nah, in evaluation is the result of how the language that has been planning is successful or not. For example, it's still connected the example from the implementation. Nah, in UKIP Siliwangi, if the students speaking English when they are crossing or stayed in English zone, it means the language planning is successful. But if still there are students doesn't speaking in English when they are crossing even stayed in the English zone, it means the language planning is failed. It was example of language evaluation. And the next material is about the procedure of language planning. Okay, and the next one is the procedure of language planning. There are 4 procedures in language planning. The first one is selecting the norm. Selecting the norm is choose one of the language as the official. Example like, if in a country there are several languages are spoken, it's needed to be choose just one language as the official for educational and other purposes. Jikalau di Indonesia itu contohnya adalah as you know, Indonesia has a lot of region, and Bahasa Indonesia is chosen as the official language of Indonesia country. And the second one is codification. Codification is the field of the language into standard use for national and international communication. Example like if an indigenous language is chosen, is needed to be developed for suitable with the demands of international and national medium. And the third one is modernization. In this stage, vocabulary is need to be modernization for enable the foreign material. Example like for medicine, science, and consumer society. Jadi, demodernization ini adalah memodernisasikan bahasa tersebut agar sesuai dengan materi asing. And the last procedure is implementation. In implementation, the standard chosen will be officially implemented by using it for government, medias, and also for schools. Jadi, di implementation itu adalah penerapan bahasa tersebut secara resmi untuk digunakan sebagai pemerintahan, digunakan di media, dan juga di sekolah-sekolah. And the next is the types of language planning. There are two types, corpus planning and status planning. Corpus planning is create a new word from the old one to the new meaning, and the status planning is change the language to the way the language is used. Okay, we come to the last material about the standardization. Did you know what is standardization? Standardization is the process of making some aspect of language usage to become a standard variety. The successful of standardization is when the language is accepted as the prestigious one. Jadi, standardization itu adalah pembakuan atau penstandaran bahasa yang dianggap paling baik dalam penggunaan tersebut. There are four procedures in standardization. The first one is selection. The second one is codification. The third one is elaborate the function, and the fourth one is acceptance. The most important is acceptance, because the language is, if the language is acceptance, it means the standardization is successful. Standard language usually used in media or literature, and also standardization used in grammar and dictionary, for example like KBBI, Kamus Besar Bahasa Indonesia. And the last is the standardization usually used for talk in school, and also for non-native speaker if they want to learn about the language. Okay, that's all that I can explain to you guys. I hope that you could understand of my absurd explanation. Thank you for your attention. Bye bye. Semangat semester 5. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.